So on to the fun part of your persuasive piece, the defense. The defense is the most important part of your persuasive paper, and it makes up the vast majority of the paper as well. So most of your letter for this class is going to be defense. This is where you make your case using emotional and logical supports, and those are the ones that we learned about in the appeals module. So kind of think of this as like a court case. You know, most of the court case is lawyers making arguments and making a defense. So that's what you're doing here. You're doing the same thing. Like I said, it takes up the bulk of your paper. The defense can vary in length wildly based on your argument, the scope of your argument, and how many appeals you think you need. So you can have 10, 20 appeals. If the Martin Luther letter, the Martin Luther King letter that we read for the class has loads of appeals, dozens of appeals. But you may be able to make your point in as little as 4 or 5. It kind of depends on you and what you feel like you need. Remember that most of your appeals should be logical, but you are also going to scatter in some emotional appeals as well. We're going to talk about kind of what order in which to do that. So you want logic to be your foundation. You're going to use both logical and emotional appeals, but your basis should always be logic. So you want to give extra attention to developing those supports, to your statistics, to your expert opinions, those good things. Because no matter how much emotion you evoke in your reader, if your argument seems illogical, a reader's not going to be swayed. So placing your supports. You want to pay special attention to your first and your last appeals. So like we said back in the hook, you need to really engage your reader. Your first appeal is going to occur in the hook or at the very beginning of your paper. This is where you get your reader's attention. So like we said, you want to shock them or upset them or convince them that what they're doing affects them, what you're talking about affects them directly. So your first appeal should more than likely be an emotional support, something that gets your reader emotionally invested. And like we said in the hook, that's a great place for hypotheticals. The second appeal, though, you've got your reader upset, you've got the reader shocked. Now your second appeal should be something logical, because you're going to kind of flip back and forth between logical and emotional. This is a great place to use cause and effect or statistics or quotes from experts, because they show your reader that you really know your stuff, that you've studied this carefully and that you know what you're talking about. This is a great place to use statistics in the second appeal. Just make sure again that you've checked them carefully and that they're accurate. So after that, your first support's usually emotional, your second support's usually logical. After that, you're going to go switching back and forth. And you want to offer a lot of variety in your types of appeals. If you have a paper that is all statistics, the reader's going to be bored. If you have a paper that's all emotional appeal, it's not going to feel like it has any substance. So make sure that you're flipping back and forth between the two. You want to end on a strong note, obviously. In all papers, that's true. So the end of your paper functions as a call to action. So you want to end with something that scares the reader or gets them emotionally revved up so that they're going to go through with what you're proposing and do what you're asking them to do. So patriotic appeals, scare tactics, hypotheticals, those types of appeals work really, really well here. And then you've got your solution. So after you've got the reader worked up and upset and ready to go do something about it, you're going to offer them exactly what you want them to do. So your solution is a full paragraph at least. It's at the end of the paper. It should be the last paragraph of your letter. And this is where you're going to tell your reader exactly what they need to do to remedy the problem that you're talking about. Now you want your solution to be very, very clear. You want to be as specific as you can possibly be. So you want to give your reader a step-by-step rundown of what they should do. Don't just say, help pass this as a law. Okay, well that's not helpful to most readers. Most readers don't have control over what gets passed as a law. So you can say to them instead, write to your congressman. Here's how to find who your congressman is. Here's what to say in the letter, and here's where and when to send it. So you want to break everything down into steps. You want to be, like I said, specific. So don't just say, oh, spread the word about this problem. Tell them, here's what you can post on social media, or here's who you can send letters to. You also want to be realistic. You don't want to expect every reader to go to DC and protest a law. A lot of people just can't do that. You want to offer solutions that are realistic for your readers. And then answer the W's, the who, what, when, where's, and why's. What's the timeline? When should they do this? How should they do this? With whom? Where can they find other people who are doing this through social media or in real life? And then why? You know, again, your whole paper is kind of the why, but the who, what, when, where's, that all needs to be offered in the solution. So that solution is how you wrap up your paper. You've said the controversial topic, you've stated why it's so important, you've gotten your reader really invested in wanting to do something about it, and then you've said, okay, here's what you can do. And ideally, you're going to get what you want out of your reader. So that's the parts of the persuasive piece. All of them should be found in your letter. I'll be checking them off as I read your letters, so make sure they're all there. And good luck.